5 things to never wear on a first date, and 5 things to never do on a first date is what I'm going to be sharing in today's video. I'm also going to be sharing what you can wear on a first date, featured in 10 incredible first date outfits. And as always, everything I am talking about will be linked down below in my description box. I have been dating for the last 2 years. I am 51 years old, and let me tell you, I have learned a ton about myself and about red flags and about dating and what to look for and what not to look for and all the things. So I can't wait to share all of my wisdom with y'all in this video. So whether or not your first date is casual or dressy, I've got you covered in the video. Now, the last tip, the last thing that you should absolutely not wear on the first date is the most important one. So if you take nothing from this video, please listen to that. I'm also going to be sharing at the end of the video the absolute best book you have to read if you are dating, because it has helped me tremendously. If I had to only pick one book that has helped me the most in my dating life, it would be this one. It is absolutely life-changing. Okay, the first thing you should never wear on a first date is anything that's too revealing. Why? Because it's just going to send the wrong message. It's okay to wear something tastefully sexy, but you certainly don't want to wear anything too revealing, like a very low-cut dress with your boobs hanging out, or a short skirt with, your legs and super high heels. So instead of that, I would choose something that's elegant, classy, and tastefully sexy. So this first outfit is actually what I'm wearing today. This is a fabulous leopard maxi dress. It is like $50, so it's very reasonably priced. It's a little bit sexy, but it's not too overdone. You could wear it alone like I have here, or you could top it off with a black leather jacket or a black blazer and just sort of drape it over your shoulders. It's obviously a dressier date night look, so if he's taking you to a nice restaurant, which is what most of the guys that I've gone on first dates with have done. So this is something that I would actually wear on a first date. Now, here's the first thing you should avoid doing on a first date, because I'm going to be sharing that after each thing you shouldn't wear. I'm going to be sharing what you should avoid doing. Number 1, you should not avoid asking intentional questions. So I'm going to give you 3 questions that I love asking on a first date, because they actually help you really get to know the man, because that's what you're trying to do. You're trying to vet this guy to see if you want to go on a second date with him. That's really your main purpose in the first date, is to see if you like him enough to go on the second date. So one of the best questions I love asking on a first date is, tell me about your mother and what your relationship is like with your mom, because that's a good indication of what his relationship is going to be like with you if you decide to pursue a relationship with him further down the road. If he says anything like, my mom is crazy, which I had a first date say to me once, or, I haven't spoken to my mom in years, like, I'm not saying that that's like the end all be all, but it would be sort of like an orange flag raised in my mind if he didn't have a good relationship with his mom. Question number 2 is, why did your last relationship end and what did you learn from it? This is going to tell you a lot about the guy. Is he actually self-aware? Is he able to self-reflect on his past history of relationships, and how is he going to show up better in a new relationship? Like, the lesson that he learned is super important, because it's very crucial that you know that he's able to own what he did wrong in the relationship, because we all know, like, even if it's an abusive, toxic relationship, because I had that in my past. I was married to definitely an unhealthy partner for many years. I've been divorced for 2 years now, and I had to own my part. I know I was there for a reason. It wasn't all him. It was partly I was choosing him, and I had to do a deep dive into my childhood and all those things to figure out why I did that, so that I won't continue doing it in the future. And the third question, this one's a little bit lighter, but where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because, this will tell you if he's a goal-oriented man, if he has ambition, if he has drive, and that's the type of man you want in your life. Trust me, you don't want a man who isn't working. Obviously, you want a man who actually has goals and sees something amazing in his future, and this question will show you that. Now, this is a great date night outfit if you're going to somewhere a little bit more casual. So there has been times where I've gone on first dates that aren't as dressy, and this would be the perfect example of something that I think is great to wear on a first date. It's tastefully sexy because this fabulous strapless top is amazing. It's sexy without showing too much skin. This top is under $100. I love the gold luxe buttons, and I paired it with my favorite A Goldie high-waisted jeans and then some fabulous gold heels. These These are a 3-inch heel, so I can still walk in them, but they still look really good too. Number 2 that you should not wear on a first date is anything athleisure. So I know that the elevated athleisure look is so on trend right now, but definitely no joggers, no leggings, no workout gear, no sneakers when you're going on a first date. Please, absolutely not. I don't care where you're going, unless of course like the first date is like playing tennis or doing yoga together. That would be the only exception. So this is a great first date outfit. I love this dress. It's also under $100. It's a halter top style dress. It does have a plunging neckline, but I'm not hanging out of the dress. So it is tastefully sexy. And I love this ivory color. Again, it hugs my curves in all the right places, but it's not like too tight and too revealing. You can also top it off with a jacket like I have here. This is a fabulous cropped denim trench coat. I actually wore this out on a date with Mr. GK and he loved it. It was amazing. I felt very sexy, but I also felt very confident and like I wasn't showing too much skin. The second thing you don't want to do on a first date is be late, obviously, and you don't want to let him pick you up. You always want to meet him at the restaurant, either take Uber to the restaurant if you know you're going to be having a drink. And if you're not going to be having a drink, obviously just drive yourself, meet him at the restaurant, but definitely don't let him pick you up on a first date. Don't let him bring you home on a first date. And obviously you don't want to be late because you want to be respectful of his time because you want him to be respectful of your time. Now make sure you hit that little subscribe button because a lot of you have been saying that my videos aren't popping up. So if you would hit the little subscribe button plus the bell notification, this will ensure that you never miss any of my videos. I do publish 2 brand new videos every single week, one on Saturday and one on Wednesday. The third thing you should avoid wearing on a first date are flats or sneakers. Why? Because I just think they look a little bit frumpy. Now, I get it. Some of you may not be able to wear heels. And if that's you, then I would say a pointy toe flat is okay. But even a kitten heel, even a wedge is better than a pair of flats. And obviously sneakers, don't wear sneakers. I went on a first date with this one guy one time and he wore shorts and sneakers and I was completely turned off. I was like, are we going to the gym to work out? Like, what are you doing? Why are you wearing this like workout outfit? So it applies to men too. So these are some amazing heels and they're not too high. I think they're about 2.5 inches. They're a beautiful tan suede elevated thong sandal, which is all the rage right now in the shoe world. And then this look would be a little bit more of a conservative date night look, but still absolutely appropriate for a date night if you were going somewhere a little bit more casual, like not a super, super nice restaurant. This is a great cropped blazer. It's tan and white striped. It's a subtle print. It is cropped, so it's going to show off your figure. I decided to drape it, which makes this outfit a little bit more tastefully sexy. And then I went with a fitted ivory bodysuit, some high-waisted jeans that are a slim fitting jean. I probably wouldn't wear baggy jeans either on a first date. I would go with a straight leg denim silhouette versus like the baggy silhouette or the wide leg silhouette. I don't know. I just think that the baggy jeans and the wide leg jeans just aren't the most flattering. Leave me a comment down below. Let me know if you agree. If you can't wear high heels, these are my favorite kitten heels. These are gold kitten heels. They're from Amazon. They're extremely comfortable. The heel height is like 1 or 2 inches, so very wearable and very comfortable. And this is another denim look that's perfect for a first date. I love the off-the-shoulder blue top, sort of like a great silhouette. It's tastefully sexy. This top is ruched. It's like $50. It's from Zara, so what a steal for such a great top. And then I went with my A Gold E flares. These flare jeans are so flattering because they are high-waisted and they're a floor skimming silhouette, which is the perfect formula for making your legs look long and slim. So this again is a little bit more on the casual side for a first date. So if you're gonna like go meet them up at a bar and sit at the bar or like a more casual restaurant, this would be perfect. The fourth thing you want to avoid wearing on a first date is too much perfume, spraying tons of perfume, and having this overpowering scent. That's definitely not something you want to do, and you certainly don't want to wear too much makeup. So I kind of have a heavy hand. I have since I was a little girl. I always loved watching my mom put on makeup, and I love makeup. It makes me feel good. It makes me feel beautiful. So I always have to kind of cognitively say to myself, like, less is more, especially on a first date. So I do have minimal makeup on in this outfit. outfit and I went with a dark denim peplum top. This is a strapless denim top. I love the peplum detailing because it is tastefully sexy. This top is so slimming because it really sort of hugs your waist in the perfect spot. And then I went with some high-waisted white jeans. These are a little bit dressier than a blue denim. So if you want to do something like a little bit dressier, but you don't want to wear a dress, this look would be perfect. And then I went with those beautiful tan suede elevated thong sandals. Again, a 2.5-inch heel. So I'm still wearing a heel, but I'm also wearing a heel that I'm comfortable and confident to walk in, because that's another thing. You don't want to wear any heels that are like too high that you can't walk in on a first date, because obviously you need to feel good and you need to be able to walk in the heels that you wear. So the next thing you don't want to do on a first date is you don't want to talk about your ex too much, and you don't want to badmouth your ex. This is actually a red flag if the guy does that. So you certainly don't want to do that either. You don't want to trauma dump and share all your worst dating stories or worst relationship stories on the first date. Now, if he asks you the same question that I told you to ask him earlier, which is, why did your last relationship end and what did you learn from it? You can give him an answer. Just be more general about it. You don't need to go in such grave detail, because sharing your trauma is actually something that is going to be vulnerable for you. So you want to allow him to earn that, and you don't want to share too much too soon, because it kind of looks like you're trying to force intimacy. So this would also be a red flag for you to look for in him, is if he's also sharing all of his trauma and like all of his awful relationship stories. Like, that's definitely a red flag as well. The fifth thing that you should not wear on a first date are clothes that are too tight or clothes that are too big. Basically, clothes that don't fit you, you should not be wearing anyway, whether you're going on a first date or just, doing life in general. Just do a closet clean out, get rid of the clothes that don't fit you, and I promise you will feel so much better about yourself. So this look is not too big and it's not too tight. It is literally the perfect fit and would be such a great look to wear on a first date, or any date for that matter. It's a strapless dark denim jumpsuit. Because it's dark denim, it's very slimming. It also is tastefully sexy, but not too overdone, because it is strapless and it has that subtle V. Now, if you didn't want to show your shoulders, that's okay. You could easily drape a jacket over this outfit if that makes you feel more comfortable. The fifth thing you should not do on a first date is you should not drink too much alcohol. So you know what that is for you better than anyone else. You know what your limit is. So for me, my limit is 1. On a rare occasion, I'll order another one and drink like half of it. But if I have 2 drinks or more, I'm probably not going to make the best decision. So I don't allow myself to do that, because nothing is worse and more unflattering and unclassy than a woman who is sloppy drunk on a first date. So you absolutely want to regulate your alcohol intake. This is also something you can look for in him. If your date is drinking too much alcohol, that is absolutely a red flag, and you should not go out with that guy again. Now, bonus tip, and this is the most important one that I wanted to talk about. You should never wear anything on a first date that doesn't make you feel confident and like the best version of yourself. Because let's be honest, you want to be able to show up and be authentic. You want to be able to show up and be comfortable in your own skin. And what better way to do that than putting on an outfit that makes you feel confident? So you want to really pay attention to your best features. Know the ABC rule, the accentuate, balance, and camouflage. What part of your body do you want to accentuate? What part of your body do you love the most? That's what you should show off and accentuate on the first date. So pretty much for me, anything in this video, I'm showing off my figure. Everything is form-fitting because that makes me feel the most confident. And finally, the last thing you should never do on a first date is you should never sleep with the man on the first date. I'm not judging anybody that's ever done that, of course, but I'm just saying it's just not a good idea. You don't know this man, so you shouldn't jump into bed with him before you get to know him. And I just learned something on the Jay Shetty podcast, which is you don't really know anybody until you've spent 200 hours with them. So keep that in mind when you start dating. You really want to get to know these guys, because you want to make sure that they're not only dating you to sleep with you, because that's a challenge that I have had. I've had to ask myself, does this man just want my body, or does he actually want to get to know me? And I'm not going to know that until I spend time with the man and until I see how he's showing up. Is he asking me questions? Is he wanting to spend time with me? Is he planning dates? Is he being intentional about building a relationship with me, or is he just wanting to come over and sleep with me? Because I've definitely dealt with that type of man in my past. I kicked him to the curb, of course. Now, let's talk about that book that I think is the best book. If you've never read it and you're dating, it is absolutely hands down the best book I've ever read on dating. I've learned so much, and it is called How to Spot a Dangerous Man Before You Get Involved. It talks about all of the red flags. It talks about 8 different types of dangerous men. Yes, there are that many types of dangerous men. It talks about how to spot them early on. It shares personal stories of women that have been in abusive, toxic relationships, and they talk about the red flags that they missed, because looking back at my previous toxic relationships, I did see red flags in the beginning, and I chose to ignore them. And that is probably the most dangerous red flag of all, is choosing to ignore your internal intuition. We all have it, ladies. Sometimes we choose to ignore our internal system because we just don't want to be alone, or we just really want to be dating this person for the wrong reasons. But we really need to stay in tune with our intuition. So please forward this video to anybody who's dating, no matter what their age, because this book, again, it is called How to Spot a Dangerous Man Before You Get Involved. It is life-changing, it is game-changing, and it is an absolute must-read for all women before they start dating. I will leave a link to that down below in my description box. And of course, all the fabulous first date outfits that I shared will also be linked down below. Leave me a comment. Let me know what your favorite tip was and what your favorite first date outfit was. For more style information, you can head over to my blog, soheather.com, and on Instagram, I am soheatherblog. And in case no one has told you yet today, you are worthy, you are beautiful, and you're amazing just the way you are. I'll look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye-bye.